Hey Northlands, my name's Nathan, and my wife Heather and I give leadership to the student ministry at Northlands, which is called Ignite. And today I've just kind of taken over social media for a minute to share what I think God has put on my heart as a message for us. One of the things that I've noticed in myself and in others, there's this sort of rise in cabin fever and boredom, but also irritability and anger. And I think those are a result of loss. We have lost something that we are used to having, and that transition is difficult for us. So there's this lie that we must always be happy, we must always be productive, and we don't always know how to respond to moments where we're unhappy. And we'll try to talk ourselves into being, no, we should be grateful, we should be thankful, we shouldn't be unhappy. But sometimes it's a good thing to sit before God with honesty and to experience the pain, the sadness of our lives. The biblical word that I think fits this best is lament. We see throughout the Psalms, we see in the book of Lamentations, where Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, laments the loss that he has experienced, the loss that the people of Israel had experienced. When we are honest with God and honest with ourselves, that we feel pain because something that we love, something that we're used to, something that we appreciate is gone, when we acknowledge that pain honestly before God, it gives us an opportunity to lay hold of some of the promises of God. So one of the things that we see, so when Jesus spoke, it's in Matthew 5, the Sermon on the Mount, he says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." That promise of comfort comes from the honest, emotional sadness of mourning, of grief. And I think for many of us here in this coronavirus, quarantined, shelter-in-place reality, is that we have lost some things and we need to grieve them. It could be that what you lost is watching your child dress up for prom. Or it could be that what you lost is a Little League season of soccer, or watching professional soccer on TV. There are so many things that have just all been taken away from us quickly as an attempt to provide safety to others in this shelter-in-place environment. But in that, we find ourselves looking around and feeling the loss of all of these things that have been part of our lives. So Northlands, here's the invitation. The invitation is, do a season of lament. Get alone with God, sit before Him, and weep. Not to complain and be grumpy, but to say, God, there are some things that I'm used to, that I love, that I miss. And some of those things are events that we're never going to get to have, and we feel the loss of those events. Some people have, you've lost a job or you've lost work hours, and you need to lament that loss of employment because it's valuable to us. For others, just the loss of freedom itself, that you don't have the ability to go where you're used to being able to go, you need to lament that loss before the Lord. The promise is that as we mourn, He will comfort us. And so as we go to Him in honest grief, God, I've lost something, and that's painful to me. We have the promise of receiving from Him healing, receiving restoration, so that the pain isn't always rubbing us wrong, so that we're irritable. You're going to notice a byproduct that some of your anger and some of your irritability will leave because you've spent some time weeping before the Lord, the loss of your normal life. Now, we know that at some point this sickness will pass, things will return, but while we're here in this season, let it be a season of honest lament so that you can receive healing from the Lord. And you can be comforted by the God of comfort. That's my prayer for you today, Northlands. I hope that you will receive from the God of comfort.